Hello, it's Anne Claire Thomas again. In case you missed it last time, I'm reading the book What Einstein Told His Cook To. A few more things that the book touched on that related to Chemistry 1 and 2. Talked about how the enzymes in certain organisms cause reactions to take place faster, to catalyze. Namely, they talked about how those enzymes can promote oxidation in some polyunsaturated fatty acids to produce such things as aldehydes, esters, and alcohols. Also, it talked about the process of osmosis, how intracellularly such things can move from high concentration to low concentration, and how our bodies use osmotic pressure, and how such industries can use osmotic pressure to create certain foods. Also, I talked about reverse osmosis for purifying water. Also, I talked about chemical reactions that take place in fish to kind of promote a color change in their meat to make them more red. They're treated with carbon monoxide, which causes a chemical reaction within the muscle fibers. The CO replaces the oxygen in the oxymyoglobin, which are in the muscle tissue, and it promotes a color change. Also, I talked about how citric acid in such dishes like ceviche, the citric acid from like the lime juice that they use in that dish can actually denature the proteins in the fish. And talked about pH differences in certain foods that we eat. How coffee is more of an alkaline substance. It's bitter, and most alkaline substances are not what our body is programmed to like. And how acidic foods like lemons are more palatable. Also, I found this one pretty interesting. It talked about the ethylene gas that is emitted from bananas and other fruits, tomatoes, that causes a quickening in the ripening. And if you were to separate bananas after bringing them home from the grocery store, it could slow that process down. Also, it talked about the chemical structure of fatty acids, the differences between unsaturated fatty acids and saturated fatty acids, how they have long chain carbons with the hydrogens, and also it talked about how trans fats are made, and the natural cis configuration of a fatty acid is less stable than the trans version of it. And that makes hydrogenation possible, and thus trans fats. Also, it talks about the oxidation, just how our foods, when they interact with the air, it promotes rotting, and how such things like antioxidants in our foods keep that from happening. Once again, this book has not failed me in teaching me a little bit more about chemistry. I'm on about page 300 out of 400, and it's doing a good job, I think.